Hello guys, welcome back to the Brute Investor channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, I'm going to talk about the Graph token or the GRT token, which in a short span of time made some significant gains, and it's a project that still has a lot of mystery to it. And I just want to provide my thoughts and my price prediction for this token, and whether I feel like I would personally invest in this token or not. So that's basically the video is going to be, right? So if you go to the bottom of CoinMarketCap's information section for Graph, you can clearly see that they have some very peripheral information that will help you to do some a quick understanding, that will help you to get a quick understanding of this project before you can do your deep dives. But as always, I highly recommend you guys to do your own research in any of the projects that we cover on our channel. And for this token, I recommend you guys to go to the website thegraph.com in order to do your own in-depth research, right? So going back to the page, the bottom of CoinMarketCap here. So what is Graph? The Graph is an indexing protocol for querying data for networks like Ethereum and IPFS, powering many applications in both DeFi and the broader Web3 ecosystem, right? Anyone can build and publish open APIs called subgraphs that applications can query using GraphQL to retrieve blockchain data. There is a hosted service in production that makes it easy for developers to get started building on the Graph, and the decentralized network will be launching later this year. The Graph currently supports indexing data from Ethereum, IPFS, and POA, with more networks coming soon. So again, what that all talks about is basically if you take indexing, right? So when you take a project in decentralized finance, many of these projects haven't really been properly indexed, and the Graphs team, which we'll be seeing sooner, found a way to make decentralized indexing protocol, and that's basically built on top of the Ethereum blockchain. Again, it originally was built on top of the Ethereum blockchain, and it serves as a decentralized indexing protocol in order to query data into a particular format, right? So the Graph is not just available on Ethereum, but it's also available on IPFS and also POA as well. And therefore, it's a project that is aiming to become multi-chain. Again, in this day and age, if a project cannot be multi-chain, that's the surprising thing, right? So it's not really a surprise that the Graph is trying to become a multi-chain project. So I believe it's already available on Polygon and on the Binance Smart Chain, apart from Ethereum and IPFS. And I believe that this information may not necessarily be up to date. But regardless of that, the overall point of view is that the Graph is a decentralized indexing protocol that aims to power DeFi in a way that has never been done before, right? So that's basically what you guys need to understand out of this. You can also become your own. You can also start indexing on your own by being a subgraph, which is something that you can do and become a kind of like a validator and receive GRT tokens as rewards. But that's something that we'll go a little bit deeper in the upcoming slides. But if you see, to date, over 3,000 subgraphs have been deployed by thousands of developers for dApps like Uniswap, Synthetics, Aragon, Aave, Gnosis, Balancer, Livepeer, DAOstack, Decentraland, and many others. The Graph usage has been growing at over 50% MOM and hit over 7 billion queries during the month of September 2020. So again, here is another information that's probably not really fully updated, but nonetheless we'll go with the information. I believe there's more than 3,000 subgraphs at the time of making this video, but there's been over 3,000 subgraphs that have basically been deployed so far for dApps like Uniswap, Synthetics, and several other popular Ethereum-based and non-Ethereum-based platforms, right? And also, if you see, the protocol has been growing at a very rapid pace, and it has hit over 7 billion queries, by the end of September 2020, which is again one of the earliest stages of the project. I believe it was literally launched a few weeks, few weeks early of September 2020, and then it literally started growing like crazy. And that's something that is mind-boggling when it comes to the graph's performance, right? The graph has a global community, including over 200 indexer nodes in the testnet and more than 2,000 curators in the curator program as of October 2020. To fund network development, the graph raised funds from community members, strategic venture capitals, and influential individuals in the blockchain community, including Coinbase Ventures, DCG Framework, Para5 Capital, Coin Fund, DTC, Multicoin, Reciprocal Ventures, and so on and so forth. The Graph Foundation also successfully completed a public GRT sale with participation from 99 countries, not including the US, obviously, because of regulatory issues there. To date, as of November 2020, the graph has raised about $25 million, right? So again, here they're basically talking about the size of the project itself. They're talking about how they have over 200 indexer nodes, and there's also 2,000 curators as well. Again, curators are a separate group within the graph ecosystem, and they ensure to curate all the indexed APIs, right? So that's I'm not really fully sure if curators are also rewarded in GRT tokens for their contribution, but I do believe that there is some form of an incentive for curators to do their role, right, in maintaining the complexity as well as the information that's presented by the graph project. So you can either be an indexer or a curator. Again, more information about this can be found on the website. But if you see, this is a project that has been heavily funded by venture capitalists because it is one of its kind, and it's one of the first decentralized indexing protocol, and therefore projects like venture capitalists like Coinbase obviously invested in that, and that's one of the main reasons why Graph was able to get a quick Coinbase listing apart from its Binance listing early during its launch last year, right? So again, some of the big venture capitals such as Para5 Capital, Multicoin, as well as Reciprocal Ventures and others have also been investing heavily into Graph protocol, right? The Graph Foundation also successfully completed a public GRT. Basically, they also completed a public sale with people participating from 99 countries. Again, if that's not something that you should be really looking into, then I don't really know what else you should be looking into, because a project which has 99 countries that participated in a public sale is a huge feat, right? Apart from the US, obviously, if the US had participated, if people from the US had participated in the seed sale, then I believe they would have been able to raise much higher capital, significantly higher capital compared to raising from many of the 99 countries, right? So if you see, as of November 2020, again, still not really not really relevant for this time. They have raised $25 million through their overall rounds, right? So that's very interesting information indeed. So now let's talk about the founders themselves. Again, I'm going to quickly go through this because it's not really an important information for everyone, but it is important for people who want to invest in this project, right? The Graph team includes professionals from the Ethereum Foundation, Open Zeppelin, Decentraland, Orchid, MuleSoft, leading up to the IPO and acquisition by Salesforce, Puppet, Red Hat, and Barclays. So again, these are some of the people who are working in the Graph protocol. They are actually people with a lot of experience because they've worked in the Ethereum Foundation, again, one of the largest decentralized cryptocurrency community in the world. in fact even more so than the Bitcoin community itself. And they have developers from Decentraland, again a very innovative project that I've also covered in my channel. If you guys want to see my review on that, please check it out in my channel. You can also see people, backgrounds, people with backgrounds from different other projects as well, being a part of the core team for the graph, right? The initial co-founding team includes again Yanu Tal, again please forgive me if I butcher this name, project lead Brandon Ramirez, research lead, and Janice Polman, tech lead. So these are some of the main individuals. You can include as a part of your do your own research project. The founders have engineering backgrounds and have worked together for 5 to 8 years. Tal and Ramirez studied electrical engineering at USC and worked together at MuleSoft, an API developer tools company that underwent an IPO and sold to Salesforce. Again, this paragraph basically talks about the experience that Tal and Ramirez, some of the most important members of the team, have, and they basically have somewhere between 5 to 8 years of experience. Again, this information may probably be a little bit dated, so you can probably add somewhere like 6 to 9 years of experience since we are in 2021, and you can also see that some of the projects that they worked with were basically sold to Salesforce. So again, very interesting team with a lot of successful background when it comes to computer engineering, as well as making successful businesses that have been sold to other big corporations. They previously co-founded and developed a developer tools startup together, and have significant portion of their careers spent working on optimizing the API stack. At their last startup, the founders built a custom framework on an immutable database called Datomic. The graph was born from this vision to create immutable APIs and data access using the GraphQL query language. Again, this section talks about their experience in a bit more detail when it comes to graph protocol specifically. So they have had significant portion of their career spent to optimize the API stack, and also during their last startup, they have a number of startups, and during their very recent startup, they basically built a custom framework on immutable database called Datomic or Datomic. The graph was basically born from that vision. So the precursor of the graph project was basically Datomic, right? And it basically led to them using the GraphQL query language in creating their vision of the graph, right? So that's pretty interesting nonetheless. So what makes graph unique? So apart from all the indexing and what it does in a decentralized manner and its first mover advantage in that field, what should be the reason for investors to invest in this project? The graph is working to bring reliable decentralized public infrastructure to the mainstream market to ensure economic security of the graph network and the integrity of data being queried. Participants use graph token or GRT, right? GRT is a work token that is locked up by indexers, curators, and delegators in order to provide indexing and curating services to the networks. Again, so the main goal of the graph project is to basically provide reliable decentralized infrastructure, like public infrastructure that can be accessed by public, in order to perform all the cool things that they can do with DeFi, right? So by querying indexes in a decentralized manner, graph is enabling developers as well as people who do analysis using different who do analysis on different dexes or different DeFi dApps. They get to use the graph's technology in order to benefit and make better kind of like advancements and innovations in the DeFi space, right? So that's basically the overall goal of the graphs project. And if you see, they have people, they are basically providing people with incentives in the form of GRT tokens in order to encourage people to query and make the information more and more of high quality, right? So again, that's one of the main use cases of the graph token, which is an inflationary incentive reward, right? And also one of the other main use cases is that the GRT token itself needs to be locked by indexers, curators, and delegators in order to basically provide indexing and curating services within the network, right? So you need to have the graph tokens in order to basically perform these functions in order to receive more graph tokens, right? GRT will be an ERC20 token on the Ethereum blockchain used to allocate resources in the network. Active indexers, curators, and delegators can earn income from the network proportional to the amount of work they perform and their GRT stake, right? Indexers earn indexing rewards, new issuance, and query fees, while curators earn a portion of query fees for the subgraphs they signal on. Delegators earn a portion of income earned by the indexer they delegate to. So again, there are mainly three important groups of people who are upholding the graph network, right? The indexers, who are mainly indexing the indexing the information and kind of like querying it, are provided with inflationary rewards in the form of graph tokens when they lock a decent stack of the graph tokens in the first place. So the rewards that are generated to the indexers and the curators are basically proportional to the stack that they are staking, right? The amount of graph tokens that they are staking, and also the quality of the work they are doing on the network itself also provides them with the higher yield of or higher earning potential of the graph tokens itself, right? Whereas the delegators, they basically earn a portion of the income earned by indexers in order to who delegate to them, right? So again, that's basically the main fundamental infrastructure of the graph tokens. And if you also see, the graph is it originated as an ERC20 token, but I think it's available now on several different blockchains, and it is trying to become a multi-chain project. So although it initially started as an ERC20 token, now it's trying to branch out into multi-chain, right? And that's pretty much it when it comes to the token itself. So we can also discuss about the circulation, but if you see, they're basically talking about how is the graph network secure. The graph has built an open data layer on top of blockchains. Indexers can run their own Ethereum active nodes to run graph nodes, or they can use node operators like Infura or Alchemy. So again, if you want to become an indexer on the graph protocol, you can either do that by becoming your own node operator, or you can run nodes with node operators like Infura or Alchemy, right? Any analytics company can build an application to query subgraph data that's indexed by the graph. Subgraphs are open APIs to be able to pull data from the blockchain in the most seamless and efficient ways. Again, this is something that's an additional information that will help people understand the project even more, right? So again, overall, I think we've covered pretty much everything when it comes to the peripheral perspective. So let's quickly go through their website to see how it looks like and what information is present that you may be diving deep into. So APIs for a vibrant decentralized future. So again, that's basically the headline for this project. It's a global GraphQL API, and if you see what's the newest DeFi project, they can basically query information and the indexers will basically do their thing. Say goodbye to custom servers. So again, you don't really need a custom server in the future. Like if everything goes well with the graph project, I think everything will fully be relying on decentralized servers rather than centralized servers, right? So that's an interesting value proposition. Web3 is a new stack for a radically better internet. So again, they're also talking about how the graph is going to basically change the way things can operate. So much is getting built, obviously, because of DeFi and all the different aspects of decentralized finance, including governance, staking, borrowing, lending, marketplaces, NFTs, so on and so forth. It's becoming a huge trouble trying to get indexing information, but the graph is trying to solve the problem in a fully decentralized manner, and that's obviously the reason why so many projects are trying to integrate with Graph, right? On a shared neutral foundation, they're obviously talking about some of their core values. Interoperability, which is going to be something that will be very interesting to see. It's also going to be multi-chain security, high-level security, because it's mostly using the Ethereum blockchain, but once it uses multiple different blockchains and tries to become as multi-chain as possible, the security would be more robust because it's relying on security of different chains, and that's going to make it even more secure than what it is right now. And you can also use it as a governance token as well. So it's supported on Ethereum, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, Celo, Avalanche, XDAI, POA, and Phantom. So again, these are some of the chains that are basically running Graph, the Graph protocol. So think about all these projects and many more projects that will definitely be benefited by the indexing features of the Graph, the Graph's protocol, right? If you scroll below, they have some really cool graphics. They are on mainnet, obviously. If you are a developer, you can basically click on this information. For indexers, curators, and delegators, there are respective informations that you can click on to learn more. And they have a subgraph studio, which can also provide you with some valuable information. They have the Graph Explorer, and this is recommended reading. I recommend you guys to read these articles, and that's pretty much it. So they have some really interesting live products which will help you provide more in-depth research on some of these projects which use the Graph. And here are some of the tweets about the Graph protocol. It's backed by, again, these are the investors that we covered before. It's also backed by Coinbase Ventures, so that's something that's pretty much well known at this time. Where we are going, so here is the future vision statement here. I really like their logo, and the information they provide here is quite extensive, but also very relatively easier to understand as well, right? So no real issues with navigating the website. So that's something that I'll let you guys decide based on your interest with this project, right? So again, going back to the CoinMarketCap page, this token is currently ranked 49th on market cap by CoinMarketCap with a current trading price of 64 cents per token and a decline of 9.54% in the past 24 hours, right? So again, the market cap is only $1.8 billion. So think about how much market, how much first mover advantage this project has, and it's still less than $5 billion in market cap. So again, that's something that should tell you that this project is extremely undervalued, and that's something that you guys definitely need to understand, right, before investing in this project. So again, if you take the total supply and the max supply, there are like 10 billion tokens in overall, and you can also see that there's actually slightly more than 10 billion tokens, 10 billion and I think 57 million tokens as max supply, and you can clearly see that there's only 29% of the tokens, which is basically 2.9 billion tokens in circulation. So you can definitely expect some inflationary price slumping, because people will literally dump their tokens after they get the reward, and obviously they have to pay for the cost of living and all that. So I think people will literally dump this token as they receive this reward, especially the indexers and the curators as well as delegators, right? So I would probably say that this is going to cause concern to people, because there is no real way that much token being unloaded in the market is not going to prevent this token from kind of like going upwards, right? So it is definitely going to affect this token. So that's something that you guys definitely need to bear in mind. But I think on the long run, in the grand scheme of things, I would probably say that the Graph will probably be a very significant appreciating asset, right? So that's basically my opinion. And even though the numbers when it comes to the tokenomics doesn't really favor this token for the short term, I think the long-term potential for the graph is going to be really good, right? So again, that's basically my opinion. If you look at the chart or the graph for the graph, you can clearly see that this token price point is available since the 18th of December 2020, and you can clearly see that the token price like went from 14 cents all the way till a relative all-time highs of about 71 cents before going back down, and then gradually making its actual all-time highs of about more than like $2.50 before kind of like slowly bouncing and moving sideways, and in fact making lower lows and lower highs, and finally crashing down on mid of May, and then since then it's been going on a downward trajectory, right? So I would probably say that this token is a little bit kind of like having a high sell pressure more than a buy pressure, and I think this token can move sideways or even go a little bit lower and retest its all-time like second all-time relative all-time highs in January, which was about 54 cents. I'll probably think that this token can break below the 54-cent range and maybe be somewhere between 45 to 40, 45 to 49 or 50-cent range for the upcoming months. And unless Bitcoin itself starts moving upwards, you really can't expect any upward movements for this token, especially with such strong selling pressure, right? And it's really high token supply. That's quite concerning. Although it is concerning in the short term, in the long run I think it all will make sense, and this token will definitely outperform multiple other projects, right? But as it is, the timing is not really that great with the tokenomics for this token, and I think that's going to probably cause some price slumping, and you can probably get this token for even less than 40 cents if you're lucky, right? So that's something that you definitely need to bear in mind before you invest in this project. Well, you should also at least understand that you didn't really buy it above the $2.50 range, so people who bought it at that range are literally struggling right now, and I think when you buy it at these price points, you are still getting it at a really significant discount from its all-time highs, right? So when it comes to the Bitcoin comparative, you can clearly see that this token was worth about 600 satoshis per token before making an all-time highs of about 3,200 satoshis per token, and then it crashed down to make a support at 8,500 satoshis, and then going back and making an all-time high, an actual all-time highs of about close to 6,000 satoshis per token. But since then, it's obviously been moving sideways, and even more so the downward trajectory, right? Making lower lows and lower highs. I don't really see this token rebounding anytime soon in the Bitcoin comparative as well. So you may probably want to wait to get a good entry point. It's currently trading at 2,100 satoshis. I believe it can go a little bit below the 1,800, 1,900 satoshi range, right? Which would be a good buy opportunity. And in fact, it recently was at the 1,600 satoshi range. So if you want to dollar cost average in when it reaches the 1,800 satoshi range, then that will be a good buy opportunity if you want to buy this project, right? So looking at the market where it's available at, you can clearly see that this token has ample of liquidity, not only on Binance but also on Coinbase, and even on Huobi Global, which is also a tier 1 exchange, and you can pretty much find it on every single major exchange in the world, and obviously on Uniswap, which is probably one of the main decentralized exchanges to buy graph. But you can also get it from Bancor, and I believe you can also get it from SushiSwap as well. Again, pretty standard for this token to be available on Ethereum, on the Uniswap as well as SushiSwap platforms, because since it was created on the Ethereum blockchain, you can expect it to be available on those two premium exchanges, right? But when it comes to centralized exchanges, you have ample of liquidity, so there is really no worries about this project when it comes to liquidity perspective. But the final verdict from my side is, I think in the short term, this token can go lower, which is probably not going to be something that people who bought on the top would be willing to see, but it is a good buy opportunity for people who are looking to dollar cost average in, right? Both in the Bitcoin comparative as well as the dollar comparative. So I think this token can go all the way till 40 cents per token, and even maybe even below that as well. And it needs to be noted that Bitcoin basically dictates the altcoin market, so it may make sense to kind of like take an account on where Bitcoin is going to go when it comes to technical analysis, then try to see what graph could do, because usually after Bitcoin pumps, projects that are mid cap and low cap will start pumping. So graph may be one of the mid cap gems that can definitely shine, right? But in the long term, I can see this token crossing its all-time highs and even being worth $5 per token. And I think by the end of this bull run, this token can definitely retest its all-time highs and maybe at least be around $2.20 or $2.30 range. But in the long term, it can cross $5, and if you're lucky, even go as far as $7 or close to hitting the $10 range, right? Because it is a unique project, it's one of its kind, and I think it has good long-term potential. For short-term, I'm probably going to wait into buying this token. I'm not going to buy a huge bag because I feel like the token is definitely having some really good selling pressure because of its extremely high max supply and lower circulating supply. And also, this token is not really staked at large quantities, and that's something that you may have to take into account for the short-term price dumping, right? But apart from that, it's a really good and valuable, strong project in my opinion. I can see this token making some really good gains extremely in the long term, right? So that's just my opinion, guys. Again, remember, guys, you guys are not regular investors, you guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.